Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today me and Susan are discussing a big blockbuster of a movie from the mid 80s, 1986, starring Tom Cruise, Kelly McGillis, and Val Kilmer, to just name three. And we do feel the need for speed. Yes, we are going to be talking Top Gun, which it has got a sequel now. But, due to the COVID situation at the moment, it keeps getting delayed. So, but we are talking the original 1986 movie Top Gun. So, without further ado, then, opening thoughts, Susan, on Top Gun.
Okay, saw this in the theater as well. Loved it. Um, some of the most amazing flying scenes on record, and uh, good soundtrack. Just a fantastic soundtrack. And this was when Tom Cruise was just entering that highest point of his career.
Yeah, it
You know,
was, yeah.
he really was. He was almost into the Mission Impossible stuff, but not quite. And Val Kilmer was just aiming for the top of his career, and Kelly McGillis. This was one of her strongest performances ever, and I just I think that it was, you know, a fantastic movie.
Mm,
Really high energy, really high high jeopardy because of the reality of the beginning and end. It's sort of bookended on either side by real combat, and then in the middle it's training combat. So it's a bit like a Rocky movie in that there's a real combat first and last, and then in the middle there's training.
yeah,
And so it's based on that sort of arc in terms of activity and stuff, and like the the highest jeopardy is at the end where Maverick and Ice and Jester are fighting six MiGs in a rescuing a ship on the Indian Ocean, and we all know what is close to the Indian Ocean, Yemen and Saudi Arabia and stuff, and so yeah, it could have been anything, or up into the Suez Canal. All of that is right there. Afghanistan, Pakistan. Yeah. So this was right at the height of the Cold War, and our enemies were mostly in Russia, but this was um, also right at I guess not at the height, but at the real end of the Cold War, right before the wall came down, and so it has a little, uh, you know, understood political ethos in it. Just
mhm,
kind of like everybody who sees it knows that the political dimension that's actually going on right then. And let's see, it had and it had some things that were whacked, but mostly it was amazing.
mhm,
And it was the story of these fighter pilots, and it was also a romance, and it was also a buddy movie with a tragic twist in it. So yeah, really really good. I thought um I think the riff tracks people like really just didn't, you know, they do bad movies, and so this was obviously one of the ones that they thought was a bad movie.
Really?
Yeah, but I on the other hand, but they have done some blockbusters, so I don't really know. You know, they just make jokes about it, so I don't know. And my father-in-law, uh, he he is he's a Vietnam era um, plane mechanic, and he said that the flying in this was brilliant, except for the Maverick maneuver.
Hmm.
You know, where he flaps up, wings up, put puts on the brakes as there's no brakes in flying. So anyway, he says that that was a bunch of hooey. Uh,
Yeah.
but I've talked to people about this movie, and you like you do, like you kind of do. You kind of really want to talk to people about it, and you know it made such a big impact on my father,
Yeah.
on my father, uh, that you know he ended up naming our dog Maverick after the Tom Cruise character's call sign. I mean, it's just it really, you know, it's something that you either absorb in and make it part of you, or you go, oh. But I don't know too many of those. I just knew a lot of the ones that absorbed it in. I don't know. I think that that's pretty much all my opening thoughts. Back over to you, Lee.
Thanks, Susan. Well, yeah, I mean, this was summer of '86. The budget for this was $15 million. A lot of money back then, and it grossed nearly 357 million.
Yay!
So I think it was a hit. Um, but yeah, it's. I mean, you could. It's dated pretty well, really. Apart from, for me personally, um, the cheesy romance bit in it. You know, she's lost a loving feeling. Um, it was a bit cheesy, and of course with the '80s mustache on Goose. Um, but apart from that, it is a damn good, you know, movie to watch. You don't really need to follow the story because, as you said, it's training and it's real action nearer the end, and that's it, really, isn't it? And a little bit of cheesy romance in between. You don't need an IQ to follow this. Um, and as you say, Tom Cruise, this was, I think, his first big blockbuster. '86. He also did The Color of Money.
Mm-hmm.
It was two of his first big blockbusters. Before that, he was a leading actor in movies before then, but as I say, he wasn't making big bucks, shall we say, before then. You know, he did Legend, he did Risky Business, um, and stuff like that, and Taps. I think it was Taps, wasn't it? Yeah, Taps.
And then
Um,
he went on to do Rain Man right after this.
Yeah, Rain Man was '88. Yeah, so this was the same. Summer '86 was when Tom Cruise became a big blockbuster star, um, due to this movie and Color of Money, of course. Um, yeah, I loved it. It was, and he still looks the damn same. He hasn't aged.
Oh no, must be a
He's got a
flipping
portrait.
vampire.
He's got a portrait in his attic. Um,
Oh,
but and also you get Val Kilmer as well. This was his. Was it his second move? could be his second movie because he did Top Secret before then in '84, and he didn't want to play the Iceman. He didn't want to be in the movie, but his agent or whatever said you've got to do it. Yeah, it's pretty good story wise, and as you say, the action scenes in this with the flight scenes is so well good. I mean, I don't know anything about that. The manoeuvres on these planes aren't true or whatever, but I don't really care because you sat there enthralled by the action. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I don't know. Was Tom Cruise actually in the planes? Because I know he does everything now, but I don't know back then. Was he? Was he in the cockpit while they were up in the air? But yeah, I enjoyed this. And it's been iconic. There's iconic imagery from this movie. You know, not just the planes sequences, but where he's on his bike and his leather jacket, just riding on the road. That's become an iconic scene. And I did mention the cheesy romantic bit with the, you've lost that loving feeling. She's lost that love, but it's an iconic bit of cinema, that bit.
Yep.
And Susan has mentioned the soundtrack. It is an awesome soundtrack. Kenny Loggins, Danger Zone, Berlin, Take My Breath Away. You know, I've got the soundtrack somewhere, but it is, check the soundtrack out just for that as well. It is such a great soundtrack. So what's your favourite moments then, Susan?
All right. Well, I do like the cheesy romance.
I knew you would.
Because it starts off with him hitting on her, thinking that she's just any other girl, and then it turns out that she's his superior, hired by the Pentagon to as an astrophysics or some no, aeronautic engineer or something like that. So, and she was studying the MiGs, and she knew that Maverick would be there. She didn't know that he'd hit on her, but then she fell for him, and you could see that it was a great normal. I guess that's what really the cheesiness of it. It's it becomes just a. I mean, there's a little power play in there, so it's a little fun, but it is just it's cis. There's a cis female, cis male, completely heterosexual, like just cut and dry romance.
You say completely heterosexual, but there is quite a homoerotic scene where they're playing netball.
Yeah, volleyball, yeah.
Volleyball. Well, yes.
All right.
Yeah. Carry on.
And there's a lot of shower scenes, and there's lots and lots of, studly men running around. Of course. Yeah, it's a sexy movie. It's definitely sexy. It's got lots and lots of good stuff like that, and when Goose dies, that not favorite scene, but yeah, most intense scene was the ejection, that flat spin and the ejection, and the fact that the canopy didn't go up properly. It just kind of went up a little bit, and Goose hit the canopy and died. Then that was amazingly intense. And then there was the Lee's mentioned the volleyball, the
Sorry to bring that up.
what you Brits call netball.
Yeah. It's a net, it's a ball. There you go.
And there's it's a like a beach game, and that was when Goose wanted Maverick to hang with him, and everybody always wants Maverick to just hang in there, get through it, stick with it. And he's always just like, he does that for a little bit, and then he goes off and does his own thing. And every time he
Maverick,
goes off and does his own thing, he gets in trouble, and then at the end, he has to really struggle to do the right thing. So I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of like that movie, Do the Right Thing, also in that way. You know, it's the lead characters, you know, going along doing the right thing, and then splitting off and being a maverick. Therefore, his name anyway. So like that was a you know, but it's not something that was really there's no intellect to it. It's all feeling. It is
mhm.
all feeling. It's 100% emotions. There is no grand story.
Yeah. There's no grand scheme of this, is there?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, he even ends up back at Top Gun at Miramar, training others, and so it's just the it's just going on feeling, and the soundtrack is there to generate those feelings in abundance. And man, they choose the best music, and they had it written for this. It
mm,
was so good, and Harold Faltermeyer and all this stuff.
yeah. He did the score, didn't he? Harold Faltermeyer. Yeah.
I mean, out of the park, so good.
Well, you also had as Viper and Jester. You had Tom Skerritt and Michael Ironside.
It's true.
I mean, being in many, many movies, I totally forgot that was in this until I was rewatching it this week. Oh yeah, there's Tom Skerritt, and they did some good performances. I mean, there wasn't in it much, but they did some great performances. But as I say, we agree with what Susan said. There's no end game to this movie. There's no. It's just a tale of training, a tale of a bit of action. You don't really. He doesn't learn anything, in my opinion. He'll always be Maverick. He'll always be a Maverick.
Yes.
He'll never change.
Yes.
But it was so good to
I
sit
mean,
down with
you,
it.
you got that. Like the thing that proves that over and over and over again is the fact that he always requests a flyby.
Mm,
He wants to buzz the tower,
yeah,
and he does that on land, and the air traffic controller is there, and then apparently the air traffic controller is out at sea on the same ship as him.
mm,
How come that air traffic controller keeps ending up on the same place, drinking the same cup of coffee as he's flying by, and like it with the sonic boom that goes with that,
yeah.
and
It's just bad luck on his part.
fills his coffee every damn time.
I mean, also as well, when thinking back on the movie now, it's a buddy movie.
Yeah.
It's him and Goose, and then eventually him and Iceman. Um, and there's no this sort of movie you would expect a bit of ruckus, bit of fighting, but there was nothing. You know what I mean? There was no fisticuffs again.
just the scare downs and the
Yeah.
especially in their locker room.
Mm.
That sort of
But that's what I mean. This sort of movie back in the day as well, you would expect a bit of a fight scene,
yeah.
and there was no such thing. I mean, that's just I've just realised that now. I mean, I don't know if there was any filmed and it was just cut out or whatever, but it didn't need it though. But you feel like these sort of movies, there's always somewhere like a bar fight, or there's two competing persons, Maverick and Iceman, could have ended up hitting each other, but no, it wasn't nowhere to be seen in this movie.
It was all done with facial expressions.
Yeah, staring,
Yeah,
curl of a lip,
yeah,
staring behind shades.
yeah. And and the only time that they ever, I don't know.
But it was it was a smooth.
Was when Hollywood or no Sundown was
Yeah.
like he they were at the second to the last fight scene in the dog fight scene in the training sessions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Sundown is his new gunner.
Yeah.
And his rear upper RIO Rio. I don't know what that means. Anyway, Sundown is like he comes up to him and he's like, "What the hell is your problem? Why didn't you engage?" And he shakes him, but that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And then steps back.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it's a bit weird, that, isn't it? It's just.
Yeah, I'd already talked about that.
But also as well, I mean, this is a Jerry Bruckheimer movie, but this was directed by Tony Scott. Now, if I remember right, Tony Scott was Ridley Scott's brother, wasn't he?
Yeah, didn't they do Alien and stuff?
Ridley Scott did Alien, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Alien. Tony Scott just said Top Gun. I mean, he's no longer with it. I know he killed himself not so a few years back. But what a movie for Tony Scott. I mean, the Scott name, Ridley Scott, Tony Scott, some big blockbuster movies.
Ooh, huge.
And then also as well, before I forget, you had Tim Robbins in this.
Yeah.
And Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan.
I mean, 1986. So Tim Robbins, had he just come straight from doing Howard the Duck, or was he going into doing Howard the Duck?
If you remember, we reviewed Howard the Duck.
I love that movie. But yeah, there's those little, up and coming stars. So big movie name, Hollywood names. Meg Ryan. I mean, this must have been one of her first, because she played Goose's wife, didn't she? So, anything else you want to say about Top Gun before we move on? And I do look that leather jacket. I'd die for that leather jacket like he wore.
Yeah.
You've got to have a white t-shirt with it.
His. I mean, he wore the coolest stuff ever.
Yeah. It's just so 80s, but it's so damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's done all in the best weather, the best sunshine, the most amazing lighting, everything about the thing is super positive, super except for the death of Goose, every single thing in there is
it's positivity. There was that was the only negative bit.
Yeah.
So I bet you when people, I mean, let's say I was 86, I was only 16, so I bet people when they were coming out of the theatres, I bet there was just such a feel good you know, the emotion of feeling good coming out of the theatres after watching this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I was just what say. I sat watching it this week. You know, it's just a bit of euphoria.
Yeah.
Where do the day?
Aesthetic and it's euphoric.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
But, so, shall we go to final say and score?
Sure.
Over to you.
All right. There are some things that you know, in retrospect are kind of, you know, cheesy and stuff, but and they don't it's not real physics, it's not real flying, but damn, it feels like it is. And you know, it was such a big movie,
Mhm.
so much going on in it. I'll give it I'll give it 9 flybys out of 10.
Nice
9
one.
cups of coffee spilled on the air traffic controller. Whoa.
Oh dear. What shall I give it? So you're giving it a 9. Uh, yeah, I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it 9.5 tailspins out of 10. You know, it is a damn good movie. So the cheesiness, I can live with the cheesiness, but 9.5 is still a good score. So I'd like to thank Susan for talking Top Gun. You guys out there, please check it out. If you don't like it, let me know, and let me know what you didn't like about it. Please leave a comment below. If you'd like to join our casts, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're all over the globe. Please get in touch with us, and we'll try and get you on. Also, what else do I have to? Oh, YouTube. Yes, when you're watching on YouTube, if you like us to if you like to be notified when we put videos up, press the notification bell, shape of a bell, and you'll get a ding every time we come up with a new video, which is usually 2 to 3 times a week. So until next time, you guys out there, Top Gun. Remember Top Gun. Keep flying high, guys. Keep flying high.